I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I did. Guys, John here. Welcome back to the channel. So today we've got the second unboxing from our Amazon delivery the other day. This is a table saw stand for my DeWalt Flexvolt table saw. Now, I had an old Ryobi 10-inch table saw that it met its needs. However, the whole purpose or my intent was to completely go cordless. That enables me the flexibility to go where I need to, whether it's here or on the farm someday or what have you. I should be able to go anywhere I need to, do what I need to work-wise, and get the job done. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. You're going to get to see stuff just as I get to see it, and we're going to put this thing together. Hope you guys enjoy. So first thing, let's go ahead and drop the box down. I don't know how many pieces, hopefully it's mostly assembled, but I want to be surprised. So we're going to use a knife, pop this open, move this chair back in a little bit. Alright, now alright, it's a nice pretty box there. Alright, and of course it comes in a million pieces, so this should be a fun endeavor. So we got some bolts here and some wrenches. We'll go find some replacements for those. Got a couple of wheels. So 2 wheels. Set those right there. We got some instructions. We may or may not need those. More bolts. Alright guys, this is going to be fun. So I guess if you buy the combo at the store, maybe it all comes pre-assembled. Clearly not the case with this. Alright. Here's the leg stand. Alright. So that's the first layer. Alright, then it looks like we're getting the legs and the frame. So, let's see, what's the best way to do this? We'll slide the box down this way. We'll lay these legs out for you. So, there's one piece. There's another piece. Put that right there. Alright guys, so we're done with the box. Clearly, DeWalt took into consideration the fact that the guy who doesn't know how to put his IKEA furniture together isn't going to be buying this table saw. So, you will need to have some construction know-how and what have you to put this together. I'm sure it's got some good step-by-step instructions, and we'll go through those and put this thing together. Alright guys, so we did look through the instructions, and they're pretty clearly laid out. Also on the bag, so you've got one that comes with this little bitty wrench here, and it comes with an Allen hex, and then or an Allen key hex wrench, and then you've got a couple of screws in here, and so those go to the frame. Have another bag here which says handles, so that's the hardware for the handles. You have one that says the wheel shafts, one for the kickstand, and you have 2 wheels. This is for your kickstand. This is the axle shaft for the wheels, and then you got your 2 parts of your frame. So, and then this is your handle. So we'll set these pieces over here, and we'll get started. So first thing we're supposed to do is put the frame together. So all we do here is we slide these 2 together. So slide that into there, that one into there. Now I've got a mover's blanket on the table so it doesn't damage anything. Alright. So I don't like using these little hex keys. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use one of these. So this is a 5mm. It's the right size. We're going to use our 3/8 adapter. Put that on there. And then the cool thing about these new DeWalt impact drivers, the old ones you used to have to pull the collar back, not anymore. It just slides right in. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our frame together. And we're not going to put a lot of pressure on there. Make sure that thing's turned all the way down to low setting. Just snug it up. Okay. And next one, nice and easy. Sometimes it's a good idea to start them by hand first. That's actually, we're going a little too far, so we'll start it by hand and we'll tighten it down nice and careful. Okay, so that's together. I'm going to bump it up to 2 and give it a little love tap. Okay. That would be about as tight as you can get it by hand. Alright, next step. So, back to the trusty instructions here. Next thing is, we're going to assemble the wheels, attach the axle to the end bracket. Frame together. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the axle together with these carriage bolts. So we're going to use these carriage bolts. They've got a little square in there. All they do is they go into this square. Now, unlike other projects you may have worked on, this one does not require the nut, so it's kind of confusing because the washer comes on pre-assembled together, but those washers are actually for the wheels in the wheel hardware bag. So all we're going to do is take our gear wrench, get it going the right way, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, and tighten it down. Gear wrenches are amazing, guys. Absolutely an amazing wrench. Alright, so you're just going to snug those down till it's nice and tight. If that ever gets loose, you can tighten it up again. Next thing, we'll throw on the wheels. So you put the wheel on, put a washer on. Make sure this leg is down so you guys can see what we're doing. Take our lock nuts for our wheels, put those on. We do it NASCAR style here with our impact. Okay, wheel still spins freely. Alright, now over the other side. Put a wheel on, put our washer on, and we're going to put our lock nut on. Nylon lock nut, just like NASCAR. Alright, make sure it spins freely. Don't over tie them, guys. I've got the impact driver set at level 2. Alright, next step is for the kickstand. So we're going to flip this over. Try not to tear up our table. That's why we put the moving blanket down. Keep it on the moving blanket. Alright. Next part is our kickstand, right here. Alright, so we're going to come over here our bag of kickstand hardware. And they've got this broken down for us. Inside this bag we got these 2 little plastic things. Got a couple more bolts. And so 4 bolts, 4 nuts. So these just slide in and you're going to align the holes so you can see all the way through. Same thing on this side, line the hole so you can see all the way through. Good to go. Alright, next step. I'm going to take a couple of these bolts. And it says that they come in from the bottom up through the top. So like such. So all the parts that can stick you are underneath the saw. And we're just going to take and get that one started. Do the same thing here with this one. Put it through top hole, get it started. And you always put all your bolts in loose before you tighten them all down. Especially when you got multiples like this. Because what you'll do is you'll tighten it down, and then you won't be able to get a bolt in, then you're going to have to take everything back loose, and meanwhile you may have bent something. So you're just going to put everything in hand tight, loose, and we'll come back and we'll snug it all up. Sometimes it happens, you drop a bolt. Okay, that's hand tight. Now, we are going to use this hex key because we're going to use the impact driver to tighten it down. Make sure that's still same size, 1/2 inch. That is still a 1/2 inch. It's good to go. Alright, I'm just going to tighten it down. Okay, go around it once, kind of loose, and then we'll check it for tightness on the back side. Okay. Now you can't overdo it and you can't break these bolts if you're not comfortable. So take your time. Slow, smooth is fast. Okay, that one's in, that one's a little loose. So we're going to tighten it up. We'll tighten this one up again. Now they're still pretty loose. So from here, we're going to do it by hand just to make sure we don't mess anything up. Okay, this side, you see what I did there? That's an old trick. You can take and get extra leverage by using your thumb or squeeze it. If you're trying to break something free, you can use 2 wrenches together and break them free. Those little cheap wrenches, guys, those are called knuckle busters. Okay. Alright, so after you get this side all tightened down, you're going to give it once over, make sure everything's good and snug. Okay, now that's snug. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our top handle on. Alright, So hopefully you guys will be able to see this. So we're going to actually flip it up on end. We'll put our handle in that side and this side. Okay. Double check our instructions. This really isn't that bad, guys. Put that one in. Put that one in. There are two nuts on our far side. Now, if there's a question, the O-rings always face out from the nylon washer. So if you look closely in there, there's a nylon piece of nylon. It's smaller than the threads, and that keeps your bolt from backing off. All right. I'm gonna put our gear wrench on here, and we're just gonna snug it down. Now we've got that snugged. Flip it over. We're going to zap it with the drill real quick. You want to make sure you don't overdo it. Now we're going to try out this little right hand piece right here. So what we're going to do, attach that, pull out the collar. That's locked in, and what this is going to do, this is going to let us get at a right angle. Pretty neat little tool, right? We definitely put that one in tight. Okay. Alright guys. So the last pieces we have here are actually for the saw, it looks like. First thing we're going to do, a little bit off camera here, we're going to move our stand over here without scratching our table. Keep it on the pad. Okay. On the table. And now we're going to bring around the table saw. Now this thing may be battery operated, but it's not light. I mean, it's manageable. A person can carry it. Alright guys, as you can see, there's a couple of holes right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our hardware through those holes. They're going to mount like such. Where those will go on like that, and the saw will bolt through those. Like such. Alright guys, so to note, in the hardware packet you got some smaller bolts and thicker bolts depending on which saw model you have. So for the Flexvolt saw, you're going to actually use the smaller bolts. Okay, that one says front, this one says rear. Okay. So that's going to go on there like such. The washer goes in there because of the cutouts of the plate. Now you're not going to get these super tight until you're ready to bolt everything down. So all we're going to do is we're going to pre-stage bolts through, put the washers on, and lock nuts. There we go. Two more of the skinny bolts here. We're going to come to our front frame. Same thing. Now that one's a little bit tricky to get through there because of the plastic on the front. So we're actually going to put both of those through. Okay. Put our plate on. washer first, then a nut. First we're going to washer on, followed by our nut. So when you put these nuts on, be careful you don't drop them down into the saw. Otherwise you're going to be fishing for it. Alright, here's that part. So put your hex key in first. You want to leave them a little bit loose, because after you get them out of the saw, okay, there's that. Next thing we're going to do, on the back side here, back that one off just a smidgen. Okay. Okay, so you want it a little bit loose. I'll flip it over and we're going to mount it to the table. So we're going to slide our saw over, slide our stand over just a smidgen. Alright. Put our hardware down for a second. We let these a little bit loose. Alright. We're going to carefully lift our saw up onto our stand. Alright guys, so we're actually going to turn it another 90 degrees the other way. Okay, make sure we don't break anything. And we're going to carefully set it down where the holes align. So rear holes are aligned, our front holes are aligned, and we're just going to hand tighten these. Like such. Alright. We're going to do the same thing on the front end, just so you guys get a better look at it. So on the front, all we're going to do is make sure our holes are aligned. So while we left our brackets loose, bolts facing down, washer, followed by a nut, put them on hand tight. Okay. And put the bolts down, come up with our washer and our nut. Put our washer and nut on. Put our washer and nut on, hand tight. Alright. Once those are hand tight, we're going to come back with our wrench. We're just going to crank it down with a 13mm gear wrench. Now the last thing you want to have happen when you're ripping a board, is when you're ripping a board for the saw to come loose. So don't be afraid to get it nice and snug. We're going to do the exact same thing on the back side. So all we're going to do, we'll actually move these legs out of the way. Alright, then all we're going to do is we're going to tighten these up, and we can actually hit these with a low impact. Alright, so we're going to open our legs up. Alright, now we're just going to take and we're going to tighten these up. The other side. Alright guys, so now our table saw stand is fully assembled. Now the thing that I love about this table saw stand, if you look up here, is it's easy. You lift your foot, take the top ones up, hit them with your foot, take those up. For the top ones, you just squeeze, push that down, squeeze, you push that down, and now you're ready to roll. Literally, roll. So, guys, thanks for watching. We're going to pull the saw down, just so you guys can, I don't know if you have ever seen the Flexvolt saw before. Over here on the side, where your Flexvolt battery goes in. Now you can raise your blade, which all you do on a saw, raise the blade, rotate that around. Okay, if you want to adjust your angle, all you do is it slides back and forth to adjust your angle. Your red marker there says 0, so we're going to cut straight up and down, but we're not actually going to cut anything. For safety purposes, alright, it does have the fence here. Fence comes off, reach around the other side. Right here is your release. Now you can take your fence, set it up here. Okay. It's also got your pusher stick in there. Alright. So the way it works, it just simply sits on here. Pull your latches. Sits on here, you pull your latches up, put your latches in, push them down. If you need to come close to your wood, you take and you put this down, and then when you come over here, so when you're out here, that gives you a support when you're extended. When you come out here to the table, that slides up and in to lock. And now you've got a fence where you can literally put it almost all the way up to the saw. So if you're cutting something really fine, always use your pusher stick, which is right here. Alright, you don't ever want to put your hands near your blade, but you use your pusher stick, push your stock through. Or you can build a box and use a box. Now, this is safe for an emergency shutoff. So if the blade's on, so that's another complaint that a lot of people have. You start it, and sometimes that'll actually, if it falls, it'll actually shut it off. So, make your cut, and then turn it off. So a lot of people are saying that will fall, hit the red button, and kill it. So it goes all the way down. Release that. Let's put everything back into storage. So it comes down. That comes up. This comes out to the edge. Okay. Put our saw stop back in here, our saw guide. Okay. Put our tray back around. Close this up where it's nice and protected. And then we're going to lock it in. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video as much as I did. That fits perfectly with my Flexvolt saw. You guys got to see a little bit how that works. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you click the like button. Give me a good thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm for YouTube, as well as, you know, share with your friends. I want to get as many people to the channel that enjoy, you know, tools, trucks, tractors, you name it. I like cooking too, so there'll be some cooking videos coming up before too long. But if you would, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. You guys get to come along for the ride with me and see me build my dream. But the true purpose of this channel is to motivate you to get out there and start building your dreams.